So sorry, I'm a couple minutes late here for those of you that are on time yourselves. As you can see, wet hair. I was running late this morning with my morning routine, but I'm here, you're here, so let's get started. We have a very bright light. Sometimes if I go like this, it will adjust itself. Let's see. Instagram, you don't see this, but YouTube and I'm sorry, it's so bright. Oh, I really here. Now can you hear me? Okay. Well, good morning. Um, I was thinking this morning as I was listening to our song for the week, Know You. Such an intimate song by Koryn Hawthorne. And it just goes, quick to the heart of the matter, just the romance, the mutual um, intimacy with God. And I say this all the time, but this is one of those things I just want to hammer on all year. And that is, this is all about the knowledge of God filling our hearts and, of course, filling the earth. And so, what He's always wanted from us was intimacy. You cannot have true intimacy without a mutual knowing of each other. If it's just one of two people that knows everything about the other person, that's not true intimacy. And so God has made Himself fully available to us to search out and to grow in our knowledge and our understanding. He's inexhaustible. He is so vast and deep and all encompassing that we could never fully know the depths of who and how He is. But it is our joy and our pleasure and our privilege for now throughout all of eternity to just press into discovering Him. And so that got me thinking about just the romance of the bride and the groom. And our families had three of our daughters get married this year. And that's a lot of romance. It's a lot of um, just the fun of watching your kids fall in love and choose their life partner and who they want to do life with, right? And that always gets me thinking about even Johnny and I and Mr. Wonderful, because we're pretty much empty nesters now for the first time. We've had short stints of it, but and our doors are still open. We still have a daughter that is not married and won't be for a while. She doesn't have anyone that she's even interested in right now. Praise Jesus. But all that to say, thinking about even our own romance and just the seasons of life that we've been through together. Here's the thing about intimacy and romance and um, relationship, and specifically covenant relationship. It requires a lasting pursuit. And it's very easy to get comfortable and feel like, even just, you don't set out or think this way consciously, but subconsciously, okay, I pretty much know all there is to know about this person. And you can get bored. You can get like, take that person for granted. And it requires intentionality. And I hope that if you've heard anything this year, that is what you've heard and you've allowed your spirit to respond to is we, in order to grow into who where the places God is inviting us to grow into with Him, it does require intentionality from us. And that pursuit of Him, we can't possibly know everything about Him. And so we could never get bored. And just even in the natural, in a romance, you're constantly, and we should be, looking for new things to do together. Because when you go places you've never been with that person, or you experience things you've never experienced with that person, you get to see aspects of that person that you haven't experienced or seen before. And and it's the same with God. When we choose to follow Him onto paths that are uncomfortable, that we've never been in before, on before, or to minister, step out and partner with Him in ways we never have before, all of that ultimately feeds our divine romance with Him. And yes, it accomplishes things too. Like when you obey Him and you go where He's leading you, good things happen in the spirit realm and in the natural, and there's fruit from it. There's fruit from, ministering with Him to new people or in new ways or in new places. But even the fruit that it bears is the opportunity to know Him in new ways. And so when we, allow our spirit to be stirred even by the song Know You, we're saying, I want to go new places with you. I want to do new things with you. And I'll just tie this thought back into our bigger picture again, the bigger picture of um, what's happening in the world right now. The level of intimacy with God that is about to follow, and really I would say that is here now. It's just harder. You don't feel all romantic when you go through difficult things in a covenant marriage. But when you look back and you see that, wow, we just went through that together. Like those are the things that on anniversaries you think back, wow, we went through that. We got through that together. And we went deep in the process. We are going deep right now with God, even though it doesn't feel like it. The difficult paths and parts of our lives collectively and individually are assuring us of deeper intimacy with Him and revival, revival spreading throughout our nations, because we are going places with God that we have never had to go before as a generation. And when you think back about, our forefathers or our even just our grandparents, when they tell us stories of, being in the war or whatever, like that's for many of them, that's where they found the Lord or right after. And so I'm just saying, like, be intentional and know that as we're asking God to know Him, we need to respond with pursuit and respond with a yes to the moments that He invites us to think something new, to go somewhere new with Him, to do something new with Him. So, all right. Now, Proverbs 6, where we left off, is quite interesting. Um, 7 things God hates. All right, I'm going to read these verses and then I'll go back and highlight them. But what we're listening for is the knowledge of God. We want to know, just like if I was telling you about somebody that you didn't know, I would say, I want to introduce you tomorrow to this friend of mine, but today I'm going to tell you all the things that my friend hates. Well, you would learn a lot about that person before you even meet them, just hearing the kind of things that they hate. So, we're going to learn some things about our Father, about God, in hearing these 7 things that He hates. Now, I want to give as a disclaimer, I think there are a lot of things that God hates, and this is probably not an exhaustive list. Nor can this be just put in a standalone, if you're a part of any of this, then He hates you. Like, this is a poetic perspective from Solomon, and he's saying in a poetic kind of way, these are things that God hates. So I'm sure you could list some things yourself if you were to write some poetic things. It is scripture, so I believe that it's true. I just don't believe that it's all encompassing. Okay. 7 things God hates. There are 6 evils God truly hates, and a 7th that is an abomination to Him. That word abomination means idolatry or disgusting. Disgusting idolatry. Putting others down while considering yourself superior. spreading lies and rumors, spilling the blood of the innocent, plotting evil in your heart toward another, gloating over doing what's plainly wrong, spouting lies in false testimony, and stirring up strife between friends. That word strife is also the word for deception, stirring up deception between friends. These are entirely despicable to God. My son, obey your father's godly instruction and follow your mother's life-giving teaching. Fill your heart with their advice and let your life be shaped by what they've taught you. Their wisdom will guide you wherever you go and keep you from bringing harm to yourself. Their destruction will whisper to you at every I said that wrong. Their instruction will whisper to you at every sunrise and direct you through a brand new day. For truth is a bright beam of light shining into every area of your life, instructing and correcting you to discover the ways to godly living. All right, I'm going to do another section here in just a second, but I want to make some comments on that section. So the 6 things and 7 things that God hates. Basically, the number 7 speaks of fullness, right? The 7 spirits of God, the 7 areas of culture, the 7 mountains that the Babylon system harlot lays across, the 7 pillars of wisdom that we'll get to eventually in Proverbs. 7 is a number that symbolizes completion or fullness. So this is like the summary of the things that God hates. I'm going to read to you those 7 things in a more, I think it's New King James Version, that will sound more familiar to you. So the 7 things again are a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that run to evil, false witness who speaks lies, and one who sows discord among brothers. So this is evil in its fullness. And what do these tell us about our Father? Okay, so our Father is basically, in my opinion, defining evil and wickedness here for us. So if you're wondering what's the difference between someone who's just lost and they're in their sin and evil and wickedness, I believe that this really sums it up here. Putting others down while considering yourself superior. And let's see, there was a comment I wrote down. All right. Putting others down while considering yourself superior. To me, that's loaded. That's not just like somebody who's prideful. That is like someone who is using their position to hold others down and lift themselves up. It is a manipulation, spreading lies and rumors. I mean, that's pretty serious. That is the media agenda that we're under right now. Pretty intense. Spilling the blood of the innocent. It's pretty clear what it means there. Plotting evil in your heart toward another. Like where you like meditate and plan out, this is what we are going to do. Gloating over doing what's plainly wrong, right? Just being so proud of the evil, the wickedness that you just participated in. Spouting lies and false testimony. So false testimony means you are giving your word that you're telling the truth about a situation that could cause that person to end up in prison and have consequences, serious consequences in their life because of what you're saying. And you knowingly paint a different picture than what actually happened. That's evil. And the last one is stirring up strife, discord, or deception between friends, causing divisiveness. Does that sound familiar to any agenda that you have experienced the last couple of years in our nation? There are friendships, there's ground that we took that the enemy tried to come in and cause division and strife. There was already friendship, and that divisiveness came in. It's wicked. God hates it, and he does not let it just go by unnoticed by him. All right, the next part of this chapter 6, truth or consequences. Truth will protect you from immorality and from the promiscuity of another man's wife. In other words, adultery. Truth. Truth is what protects from immorality. We're going to see how. Your heart won't be enticed by her flatteries or lust over her beauty, nor will her suggestive ways conquer you. Prostitutes reduce a man to poverty, and the adulteress steals your soul. She may even cost you your life. For how can a man light his pants on fire and not be burned? Can he walk over hot coals of fire and not blister his feet? What makes you think that you can sleep with another man's wife and not get caught? Do you really think you'll get away with it? Don't you know it will ruin your life? You can almost excuse a thief if he steals to feed his own family. But if he's caught, he still has to pay back what he stole sevenfold. There's that complete number, right? His punishment and fine will cost him greatly. Don't be so stupid as to think you can get away with your adultery. It will destroy your life, and you'll pay the price for the rest of your days. You'll discover what humiliation, shame, and disgrace are all about, for no one will ever let you forget what you've done. A husband's jealousy makes a man furious. He won't spare you when he comes to take revenge. Try all you want to talk your way out of it. Offer him a bribe and see if you can manipulate him with your money. Nothing will turn him aside when he comes to you with vengeance in his eyes. Now, obviously, that holds merit, importance related to the obvious meaning of adultery and prostitution. And that is all true and critical, important, and needed in our generation. But I think it actually is speaking into more than that. I would say that it is also speaking into a husband's jealousy, which is the bridegroom for his bride. And I believe that there are anywhere from religious, how would I say this? Evil people with religious agendas, just like there were religious agendas in Jesus's day. Religiosity, legalism, there is corruption in wrapped in religion that seeks to cause how do I say this? Adultery with the bride of Christ. And it's like the Father is warning the body of Christ and those who would try to use her. And there, my analogy is not complete here, but you see kind of what I'm implying. There are ways that we have been seduced by the world and by religion, by legalism, by everything that's not Jesus. And that seduction is a problem on our end, but it is something that stirs up jealousy, holy jealousy in Jesus towards his bride. And he is warning. It's in the same chapter. It's like right on the heels of what he hates, the evil, the wickedness that he hates. And he says, going right into the next part of this chapter, that truth will protect you from immorality. So what is the truth that will protect us from immorality? The truth that stands up in front of the religious system, that's not actually our Father. That is something that's enticing us away from the real him. On the other end of that spectrum, the world that has an agenda that lures us, the sons and daughters of God, by false, fake information, lies, basically lies, a facade of what's actually happening in the world. And So the truth in the midst of all those lies, the lies of religion and the lies of um, the corruption and the authority around us, that truth is what will protect us from immorality, being enticed into um, a wrong relationship with the world and a wrong relationship with religion. We get hit from both ends of that spectrum, if that makes sense. Okay, now I want to flip over to Psalms here. 119, we're still in the Passion Translation. We're still in Psalm 119. It's a forever long chapter, but we are going to go through it. We're just going to cover today verses 41 through 56. And just awesome verses again here. Here we go. Trust in the Lord. May your tender love overwhelm me, O Lord, for you are my Savior and you keep your promises. I'll always have an answer for those who mock me because I trust in your word. May I never forget your truth, for I rely upon your precepts. Remember, his precepts are his ways. Those are those things that he put into motion that cause things to work for us or against us. And when we know his better ways, we can rely upon his precepts, his better ways. I will observe your laws every moment of the day and will never forget the words you say. I will walk with you in complete freedom, for I seek to follow your every command. When I stand before kings, I will tell them the truth and will never be ashamed. My passion and delight is in your word, for I love what you say to me. I long for more revelation of your truth, for I love the light of your word as I meditate on your decrees. So his decrees and his promises are things that he has spoken with his mouth that cannot be reversed, that will come to pass. And again, I love the fact that we don't even have to know what his promises are to us for him to be true to them and fulfill them to us. Um, and I also love how, and I've got a few more verses to read here. I love how when we go into Psalms, it's like our response to what he tells us in Proverbs. So in Proverbs, he's saying, listen, pay attention, love my words, walk in truth. And here's our response back to him. I long for more revelation of your truth, for I love the light of your word as I meditate on your decrees. This next section is called My Comfort. If you're needing comfort today, this will really resonate with you. Lord, never forget the promises you've made to me, for they are my hope and confidence. In all of my affliction, I find great comfort in your promises, for they have kept me alive. No matter how bitterly the proud mockers speak against me, I refuse to budge from your precepts. Your revelation light is eternal. I'm encouraged every time I think about your truth. And what is his truth? What's God's truth? What's our Father's truth? His truth is who he is and how he is. It's the fullness of all of his names. It's his truest identity. He's love. And it is how he is. It's his kingdom. It's his ways of doing everything. I'm encouraged every time I think about your truth. It's the knowledge of the glory of God. Whenever I see the wicked breaking your laws, I feel horrible. As I journey through life, I put all your statutes to music. They become the theme of my joyous songs. So again, here he's contrasting. I see the wicked breaking your laws and I feel horrible. Like what we're watching unfold is horrific. But yet, next verse, as I journey through life, I put all your statutes to music. Basically he's saying, I worship. I set the truth of who you are in my heart through worship, through what I listen to. Throughout the night, I think of you, dear God. Let that be said of me. When we wake up in the middle of the night and when we dream, let it all be about Him. I treasure your every word to me. All this joy is mine as I follow your ways. All this joy is yours as you follow His ways. Um, I love this one line. I treasure your every word to me. So, how do you treasure His words? Do you have a journal? Do you have notes in your phone or some place where when He speaks things to you, you write them down, get them written down because that's part of treasuring what He speaks to you. He is speaking to you constantly. He leaves love notes for you everywhere, those little slight impressions, the things that kind of jump out at you during a day. And sometimes I think of them like pearls. You don't have the whole necklace until you collect each one along the way. And so a little pearl by itself might not mean that much or seem like much in the moment, but savor it. Put it down somewhere, write it somewhere so that you're treasuring it. And then you'll see that He's given you a whole string of pearls that all make sense together. So this is how we treasure. Um, all right. So the song again is Know You by Koryn Hawthorne. And it's just such a good one. It just play over and over again. Let it just um, go deep in your spirit until it's really, truly the cry of your heart. A couple of the lines that I really like from that song are, if you're not in it, I don't want it. If you're not in it, I don't want it. And then it goes on to say, I want all of you, take all of me. It's that great exchange. It's the mystery of the exchange of I'm laying down my life and you're giving me yours in exchange. Can you believe that that's all He wants from us? He just wants all of us. And in return, He gives us unlimited access to His limitless self. It's just profound to think about. And if you're not in it, I don't want it. There's a cutting away of things in our life that um, we can do to simplify. Like, where is He in this? And sometimes it's not obvious where He is in something. So don't be quick to cut something away. Just look and talk it through with Him. Is this something that you're in? Because if it's not, then I don't want to waste a moment on something that you're not in. All right. Well, live intentionally today. Live like you are important. You and your life are so valuable. So go and live like it. All right. See you again tomorrow.